Fantastic news yesterday. That one cow that we had as an IR is now clear, negative on the blood test. I just can't even tell you. I nearly cried when the vet phoned. It was an amazing, amazing feeling. You know what? I feel so bad for the people that are not able to go clear, and it must be a major frustration, because you know that one cow for us could have buggered the whole job up. We're calving flat out now and lambing starting, and we'd have to test every single cow and calf and every animal on our farm, every beef animal, you know. And I knew if that was going to come back as a fail, as a negative, the extra work, the extra stress, because it's not just one test, it would be a blood test and a skin test, and then we'd have to have 2 consecutive clears. And I'll tell you straight, it's one of the first times I've really gone home and prayed.
You've had a lucky escape, right?
Yeah, and you know, we had 12 months of it, and I know what it's to go through, and we've lost a lot of cows, but the truth is, some people have lost a lot more than what I have. This is my mate, Steve Evans, all the way from Pembroke, and drove up this morning.
Yeah, nice 4-hour drive.
Yeah, but
worth it though.
Working hard, aren't we, Steve, to hopefully get the message out there of how destructive this disease has been to so many families. Well, you just tell everybody.
Well, something fundamentally has to change, because in our own situation, you know, we've had five and a half years of clear of TB, and then last July that came to a catastrophic end, and it's been ongoing ever since, to the point where we've got another test booked for the 29th of April. We're on 60-day testing. You know, we're facing the prospect of potentially losing every bloody animal on the farm. And, you know,
how many have you lost already?
Oh, Christ. I've lost count. We lost another 44 the other day. We started off with a breakdown of 46. So, you know, there's a best part of 90 gone there. All in all, we'd be, 180 odd.
That's a lot of cattle.
But yeah, worse than that is we haven't been allowed to replace them because it was such a severe breakdown. We haven't been allowed to replace. So
what was the financial burden for you then?
Oh man, it's crazy. You'd be £30,000 to £35,000 a month. You know, that's not sustainable. You know, and it just gets worse because we've all got financial commitments. I mean, sort of 6 years ago, we invested in some new facilities. We had a sustainable production grant awarded by Welsh Government to sort of fund part of that development, you know, which would secure our livelihoods,
future,
next generation, and local employees. But there's absolutely nothing sustainable about this. It's a bloody you know, the viability of our business is at risk. So you've got staff, you know, big one. You've got the vets, the feed companies, the machinery dealers, the seed companies, but then you expand it, the local pub, because when we're on silage in the summer, we'll call down the local pub, we'll have grub and a couple of pints when we finish at night, you know, 100 quid goes there, you know, it's the impact is massive, but, you know, it's, let's not beat around the bush, it's fucking horrific. You can't continue down the route of testing and culling livestock without testing and culling wildlife. You can't dress it up any other way.
No.
In amongst all of this, Welsh Government are rapidly becoming the biggest beef barons in the UK by a mile with the number of animals they're killing. Because you have to remember that meat goes into the food chain. If they test those animals, they're positive, they go into the abattoir, bang, wallop, they're dealt with. They're post-mortemed in the abattoir, and as long as the carcass isn't riddled, that goes into the food chain. So Welsh Government, yes, they pay us the compensation for the animal, not for the loss of income of the animal.
And you're taxed on that fucker as well. People forget that, you know.
And then Welsh Government get the fucking money for the carcass. So they are rapidly turning into the biggest beef barons in the UK by a mile.
£35,000 a month. Imagine, put yourself in that situation, man, fucking bonkers. Nobody cares. No, neb yn poeni. Neb yn poeni am ei mental health o, neb yn
Ti
poeni
di
am...
gofyn?
Da ni siarad lot, cos da ni yn good friends, even that we're one end of Wales and he's at the other end. Da ni siarad 2, 3, 4 times a week, and we talk about it because it's important, because people don't understand how much stress and strain, you know, just take away the financial. It's that fucking emotional, mental, fucking pressure all the time. Because Steve's lost so many of his cows, we've come up with a decision. We're going to be working with a few people.
Yeah.
We're going to take this above Welsh Government. We're going to take this to the only fucking place that we've got left. Really.
Yeah.
And that is the Ombudsman, isn't it, Steve?
Not just for me and our family business, but the whole of Wales. And like I said, a friend of mine yesterday, you know, shitload of cows gone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
absolute rake of cows.
Yeah.
Beautiful cows as well. Awesome genetics.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
You know, and
nothing you can do about it.
nothing you can do. But there's a parish 6-7 miles away from me. And in that parish, there are farms there that have been perpetually down for the last 20 odd years.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
You know, and lost thousands of animals in that one parish.
Yeah.
And when there was the previous chief vet announced that there was going to be a cull, was that a decade ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
That parish was going to be
First one. Yeah.
one of the first.
Yeah.
And they were quite upbeat, thought, bloody hell, you know, there's a chance for change here. That's now gone.
Yeah.
Or that, you know, disappeared. And they've had the issues where it's been never ending. And
Okay, let's put this into a scenario now. They come there, they do this test in April for you,
Yeah.
and it comes back that you're going to lose 3/4 of your herd.
Yeah.
You might as well just fuck it and just fucking sell them all.
Exactly. And it's happening. There are farms now that financially are fucked.
Yeah.
It's not viable anymore. They can't get clear of TB to sell any stock they've got,
Yeah.
so they're sending them straight to slaughter
Slaughter.
and just getting out.
Yeah. They've just had the fuck enough.
Yeah, they'd have got all.
Steve, how are you?
Pissed off.
I know, but how?
Hugely pissed off.
Yeah.
What's going on in your head?
Extremely frustrated, nervous. The biggest challenge for me is seeing what it's doing to my parents,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they've worked, they have dogged it. You know, they're in their late 60s now, and they have dogged it their whole lives.
Yeah.
And all of their hard work, dedication, just missing out on life effectively to make sure that there's milk in the tank that leaves the farm every day,
Yeah.
and there's income that comes in, and trying to secure, you know, my sort of future when I was younger. And now looking at my oldest son, who's home on the farm with us, he's 23, he's 24 next month. Ironically, it's his birthday, the day we're tested. And seeing the anguish, it's like, Mum and Dad haven't been very well in the last sort of 6 months. And
Yeah, but that's down to the stress.
there's
It's
no doubt
nothing
in my
else, because
mind.
you know, I know your mum and dad,
Yeah.
fucking tough people.
There's no doubt in my
Yeah.
mind what has brought that on, because how can I put it? When you have a situation where almost overnight 30 grand a month gets taken off your income, and just remember now, there wasn't 30 grand a month in the job to start with. We've always prided ourselves on someone does some work, they send a bill in, you pay the bill. And it's like, we've always prided ourselves on that. And, you know, we've always had that reputation as well. And now you're having to go to the feed company, so can you hang on a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
That should never be. That should never be. You know, and like I said, it's that pride of doing a fucking good job, being a bloody good farmer, and just being proud of the fact. Do you know what? Someone gives me a bill, I can pay it on time, and we're not alone. And it's the amount of phone calls I've had, messages, this, that, and the other. TB, oh, fucking disaster, blah, 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 blah. And people that are just there like, I've never been so poor. I went, there's our local town, Haverfordwest, and there's a shop, such a nice guy. And he knows I'm farming. They get a lot of farmers coming in, they call in, you know, because they've got the post office there as well, and call in loaf of bread, you know, bloody pound of butter or what have you. And anyway, he was talking to me the other day, and he said, oh, you milk cows? And I said, yeah. And he said, I had a dairy farmer in the other day asking, can I have a loaf of bread and I'll pay you tomorrow? And it was like, huh? Well, I get paid, I'm hoping my calf check will come in and clear. He said he couldn't even afford a loaf of bread. And I told him straight, look, take the bread, the butter, do you need anything else? Oh yeah, go on, can I have a block of cheese and tin of bean? It's like, f***ing hell. There are certain things that keep you awake at night, okay? And it gets to a point where you go to bed and you will lie in bed thinking, hell, you know, and it's with everything else that's going on within the industry, the SFS, the MVZs, the weather, you know, it's pretty much pissed down since last July. So you've got that going on, and then this on top, and it is, yeah, it's a battle. It's a battle to get a decent night's kip. I'll be honest with you. What is the difference? Yeah, I've got friends of mine that live and farm in England. Feel pity for us here.
Of course they do. Yeah,
it's mad.
And they know there's a solution.
And they absolutely know.
That's the frustrating thing in it.
How long can you keep going?
Physically or emotionally? Because physically, like I said, I look at my parents and they've had enough. They've absolutely had enough. And, you know, it's crazy, to be honest with you. You know, you see them and it should never be. No. Fucking hell.
You're right, lad. No, hey, bastards. Mate, look, I've had sleepless nights, you know, I have tears in my eyes, because look, I'm not fucking Malacathlete. You know me, I'm straight, I'm fucking tough, you're tough.
Yeah.
But, you know, emotionally people don't understand, do they?